what were we talking about last night about the protests and stuff that you were at, like
Oh,
in
okay,
Ventura?
yeah. We're in Ventura. Raji told me about it. Shout out to Raji. Um, he invited me. Everybody had to wear masks, gloves. Everybody. They even said be 6 feet apart, but
Dude, it was packed on.
it
Like
was packed. Supposedly there was like 1,500 people there.
my
Yeah.
homie that like said he lives on Gonzales, like right across from Oxnard High School, and he was saying that like all the traffic was backed up from that point, like from the government center all the way to
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that
there
point.
was some.
There was a lot of traffic.
Yeah, there was some like bicyclists. They stopped right there. I don't know what happened, but they just pretty much stood there, and nobody crossed them.
Like how did you feel like when you were there? Like how did you like
Well, at first when I'm walking up there, like it was cool to see, and then like it was cool, and then like we were waiting to crosswalk, and then finally we went, and then as I'm crossing, like I just put my fist up, and then like it felt good because it was just like, oh, like it felt right because it's like, hey, like we're standing up for people, like we're not thinking about ourselves, so
mm,
like that felt really good, because everybody was just thinking about everybody that was affected, and everybody's was supporting black people to be treated right, and it was just really nice because it's like we weren't thinking about ourselves, we were just thinking about other people.
yeah.
How did it feel being at the plaza? How was that for you?
In Santa Monica, it was
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
Like, so we get onto we get off the freeway to go to Santa Monica, and like, I look to my left, and like, the National Guard was like there with like full on, like, I don't know if they were automatic rifles or like rubber bullet guns, but just seeing that, I've never seen that on the street before, so I felt like kind of shocked. And then me and Anthony, I went with Anthony. We looked for parking, and like as we were walking down, like we just kept hearing sirens and like helicopters, and I guess it was more intense because there was a lot of looting over there, so everybody was like on high alert. So I just
Did
felt
you see the looting?
I didn't see there wasn't any looting when we were there, but cops were like telling people to go home. They told me to go home, and like they were saying, "Oh, like we're gonna arrest you if you don't go home." So like that already being in that environment made me feel like just on high alert and like kind of stressed. But I'm sure it was because
You
of
were
the
being
time.
comfortable being uncomfortable.
I actually was like I wanted to put myself in that situation to just to see how I wanted to cover like all like because I was also taking pictures, so I wanted to take as many pictures as I could just to like
That's
cover all
dope.
that stuff. Yeah, and then just seeing what people like. There were people cleaning all of the debris on the ground.
Was there like a group of people there? Like
There were
with like big
all
groups and
like
stuff?
no, there wasn't a big group. It was just like smaller groups.
So they kind of cleaned it up, huh?
Yeah, they were cleaning up. I saw people putting like wooden boards on like the broken glass and stuff, like to protect the businesses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like talk to any of the people there?
Did I? No, because we just me and Anthony were just moving. Like we didn't really stop and like talk to people.
You kind of couldn't really like.
Nah, like cause yeah, if you stopped and like there were cops there, like oh um like yeah, like we're gonna arrest you.
You were just like on the move, huh?
Yeah.
With the skateboard.
But that's like that was like the first I guess 2 days that had happened. So everybody was just like it was uncertain and like a lot of looting and stuff. But
Yeah, I mean that's how I felt too. Like when I went, so we're protesting, and when we get there, we go kind of to the back because I told Raji, I was like, hey, like I don't want to be by the street. I don't want to be by the street because I don't want something to happen, or
like yeah.
And then like, well, once we were there, and they were chanting, and we chanted with them, and then we just started walking around. So like we started walking around, and we walked in front of the curve and everything. It was cool. But then eventually it just so happened that people just started marching on the street, and then we walked all the way down to Buena, and I
You
was
guys
kind
walked
of,
pretty far then, huh? Like you guys marched.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did. And I was kind of like, I was a little scared to
Being
like,
in the street, huh?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
before we started marching, I was like, hey, bro, I don't know about that. I was like, let's just be right here on the sidewalk, and he's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then we were, and then finally we just it seemed chill, and then Roger's like, hey, let's just go, and I was like, all right, let's go, and then we did it, and we were there, and it was cool, bro, because I mean, like I said, everybody was in support of other people, and it was just nice to be there. Like when I was there, like I couldn't believe I was there. I was like, damn, like I can't. I was just tripping out. I was like, man, we're really here. Like,
Yeah, I know, dude. I was gonna say, Casey Neistat.
Casey Neistat. Is
He,
he like he's a
like a YouTuber.
he's a YouTuber. Okay.
Like he made a video about the protest also, and he said like at the time Martin Luther King Jr. was criticized, and like at the time like the movement wasn't known like to be good, but like that was that moment. And then I guess now looking back, like, or looking at today, like this is our moment of kind of what that era was like.
Yeah.
And
no,
like
definitely.
to experience that, like now it's crazy, like.
I know, like in context,
Yeah.
it is a trip because it's like when we look at the pictures,
I know,
when we hear
yeah.
about the stories, we're just like, oh my gosh, like they're doing the right thing, like yeah, like that's it's chill, like they seem chill, like no one's tripping on them, but like to be actually
In it?
it's
Yeah.
just like wow, like they had a lot of courage because it's dangerous,
Yeah.
it's dangerous to be at a protest because you don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
like, and just seeing all the different videos that they've posted all over, like the
Of
different
like people like.
different states and different cities, and it's
Yeah.
like you don't know what's gonna happen, and it's like it's amazing how much courage these people had back in the day when times were worser than they
Yeah,
are
dude.
now. Because I mean, right now we're more chiller than they were last. I mean, a couple years ago, or however long it was, because
Yeah.
at that time there was segregation and the hate was more stronger, and now it's like it's not as strong, but it's still
It's
like
still there, but it's not as strong as it was
yeah
previously.
And it's just skeptical. You're like, I was just like, hey, I don't know if I want to get on the street or not.
Yeah,
But
like I felt that too, because in Oxnard with Jose and Rafa and Anthony, we were in the street too near Oxnard police department, and like I felt that too, just being in the street. Like who knows if somebody's gonna just step on the gat, like like obviously like pray if
like
that doesn't happen.
Is anti-fast food gonna just pop up out of nowhere and just get people rallied?
Yeah,
who knows?
Nobody knows, but grateful, like it turned out peaceful, and like nobody, like there was no violence, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go home safe. You go home like alive.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like chill, free still. But how was that one? How was the one on Fifth Street though?
It was cool. Like
bro, I got some pretty good shots.
okay,
It's
cool.
pretty solid.
I don't know if you just want to keep chopping it up.
You wanna keep going, or you wanna get more shots?
We can keep going, and then you want to talk too?
I mean, it's chill, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, bro. Just
chop
get
it
a
up.
chair. Yeah, just chop it up.
Fuck it.
Yeah, because Brandon's still recording too.
Yeah.
But so is that it pretty much? Like
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, you probably got a good amount.
Yeah.
yeah, I got a good amount.
Yeah,
Cool.
bro, it's true. So what were we saying? Fifth Street.
Fifth Street.
How was that?
We started at Wilson Park, and like we just got there, and people started marching. So like we were looking for parking, and then we had to like kind of run to catch up with the group, and it was a pretty big group, and we were all marching on the street. Like we passed the police department, we passed the art museum, and then we went to the plaza, and it was like first and foremost, like the people that organized that, like the two girls were 16 years old, and like knowing that, like that's really cool for them to do that.
Yeah, it's good because especially the kids that are on social media,
Yeah,
because they're learning that this is not right, and
they're learning also, like they have a voice that they can use for the good also, which is
and they're seeing too that I think another thing too is like how much power people can have being together.
yeah Yeah, and
So you were seeing that the two girls were organizing it.
yeah, and like the two girls organized it, and then just everybody there. I saw Cola Boy.
Oh, okay.
He was there, like and it was just cool seeing. There was like a lot of young people too, like mostly younger people there also, which is cool to see because you know,
That's
like
our
they're
future.
that's our future.
You're our future.
Yeah, bro, and just like social media can be used for the bad, but it also could be used for the good, and like you know,
That's
like,
what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
That's what we're definitely seeing right now.
and like seeing like I think Jose said that, or we were talking about, it's like good versus evil right now, dude. It's like spiritual warfare, pretty much.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, even Roger was telling me about one of the lyrics, like, of the Fuck the Police from NWA. It was like, oh, coming straight from the underground, you know, it's like, you know, it's from evil, you know?
Yeah.
Like how it is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's another thing, too, like, listening to music and hearing it from that context is like, dude, they weren't just saying fuck the police for no reason.
They were living it.
Yeah.
It was an actual story, like a part of that time, huh?
Yeah, and like, well, I mean, but they were being harassed though.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm pretty sure they knew that their parents were harassed, and it's like there's only so much you can take where you're gonna explode.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not gonna be nice.
I think that happens. It's a balance. Like if one thing goes too far onto the other edge, like it'll start pushing back, and it'll like correct itself. So like we're seeing that now. Like there was so much oppression, and there was so much stuff that was like bubbling up. It's now like kind of starting to swing back against like I guess society or the norm.
Yeah, and they can't take it no more, and that's
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. Like my friend told me that it's not about rioting and looting, but it's more so to get their attention. Like, hey, like, you know, we need to get this fixed. This is getting people's attention. Like, hey, like this is not right. And you know, at the same time, it's like I understand too. Like, there's other issues that we have too, but it's like, hey, like this is an issue that we can't have anymore as a nation.
Yeah.
But so you guys, where did you guys start in the protest?
Or you guys we started at Wilson Park.
Wilson Park, and then you guys ended at
the Oxnard Plaza.
Oh, okay. Were you guys in the street?
We marched in the street, and then we all met up at the Oxnard Plaza. So and it's crazy because I think the night before, there were like trucks and stuff. I don't know if you've seen the video, but there were trucks on the grass like doing donuts and stuff. Like,
nah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so like there was a video of that, and I'm like, dang, dude, like we were like just last night people were doing like donuts on this grass, and like I don't know, it was a trip. It was a trip, yeah.
You're like, damn.
But like music also, I listened to Section 80.
Yeah.
And then hearing like fuck your ethnicity. Like,
yeah, and he says it, racism is still alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think for me, it's taken me 28 years to realize, like, damn, like people still have hate towards black people. You know, because I mean, growing up in Camarillo, I didn't really see that. I mean, I didn't see racism with other ethnicities. I mean, how was it for you though, growing up in Camarillo? Did you see racism, or did you see any type of racism?
There was racism towards me. Like I felt, like I did feel growing up because I'm like Asian, like probably one of the very few Asians in the apartments and in school. I would be called like Gino and stuff, which is like, if to me, like it felt like, I don't know, it felt
like you didn't like that.
I didn't like it, no. But I kind of had to.
You felt like belittled when they would tell you that.
Yeah, like I would feel belittled, but you know, at the end of the day, like I didn't hate him for it, but it did feel like not good to hear that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling, like, to be called that.
Yeah. So like now, like I understand like where other people are coming from, like when they use like different words and stuff, like to be like belittled and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And I just feel like I can't understand, like it took me so much time to realize this, because it's like, because I'm not black, you know? And it's just like, I mean, even LeBron said, doesn't matter how famous, I mean, just it's a trip hearing that, him say that no matter how famous or rich you are, it's hard being black in America. And I didn't even catch that. But it's like, you know, as rich as he is, as famous he is, he knows what it is
yeah.
because he's black, you know. And it's like me, it's like, you know, I'm not that, so it's like I can't, you know, I the only thing I can do is just hear people out, and that's what I've been trying to do, just hear people out, hear people's story, and just try to, you know, be compassionate and just hear them as much as I can, and just try to understand as best as I can.
Yeah. Like having listen to their stories and empathize as much as you can with those people.
Yeah.
Because like even I've heard stories of people when they get pulled over, like they're scared because, you know, like there are videos of like cops like shooting people in the cars and stuff. Um, so yeah, like they have that already, like they have that fear of, oh, what's gonna happen like when they get pulled over and stuff.
Yeah, it's like mentally they're really like, they're scared, and they already kind of know, and they're kind of just like, oh, they already know they're gonna be looked down upon, you know, they're already a target.
Yeah, but what's good though is that like it's not, it's getting better. Like it's still there, but it's not nearly as, I don't think so. Like in my perspective, it's not nearly as bad as it was like 20, 15 years ago. It's still there, but
Yeah, it's
gotten
better.
better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely gotten better, you know. And I remember too when all that when people were when the police brutality, when I started seeing police brutality, I felt weird when I would get pulled over. But it's like it's not the same though,
Yeah, it's
because
not
it's
the
like
same.
I'm not black, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just and it really is different. It's different when you're black, because it's like you already have that target. And it's crazy because it's like, even you know, the group Public Enemy,
Yeah.
you know, it's like their name says it all right there, Public Enemy. They feel like a public enemy. And it's like, you can be like, oh well, you're making yourself feel that way, but it's like, no, it's like they've been looked at a certain way for such a long time that it's just like, hey, they're just expressing themselves how they feel, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all right there.
It's just because I don't think this hasn't been really touched upon like in the mainstream like for the longest, until like
Kind of until now.
yeah, kind of until now.
And
Like
that,
hearing stories of people, like just hearing their stories and like what they've been through also, like it hasn't been like brought to the surface.
yeah, no, no. And like when I would see the stories appear, I didn't know if it was, I was very skeptical about it. I don't know if it was real, or if it's just somebody just trying to distract us, or if it was just something made up to, you know what I mean, to take us away from important things.
I think there's also like a little bit of that also,
Yeah, but
like not to degrade that, but I think it's also important to not just focus on this, but a lot of other issues also, because I think it's other stuff is like being sort of drowned out. Like not to like dismiss this.
yeah, not to dismiss it, but like there's also other issues too. No,
Yeah.
like, no, and definitely there are other issues, but I just think that, I mean, just seeing what happened with George Floyd, it's like, and just seeing how people are reacting, it's like, hey, you know what, like, it's really something.
Yeah.
Like I can keep saying, oh, maybe it's someone's agenda to get us distracted, but it's like, I mean, let's say we take away that distraction. Let's just say police brutality. That's not a distraction anymore.
Yeah.
The matter of fact is that
It's still going on.
like no, black people are still looked down upon.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's true.
they still look at them a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, and even Smokey Robinson said too that, and he even said, he's like, yeah, back in our days, like in the 60s, you know, we used to get beat by the police too, but the only difference now is that we have phones that we can record with.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, dude, if
Yeah.
you know, it's an issue. I mean, and
It's a huge issue. Like, I'm not denying that at all.
yeah, and the thing is too, it's like there are still other issues that are important. You know, there are definitely. I mean, we can go on the list.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think.
But right now it's like everything is, like this is the it's on everybody's mind right now, I think.
Yeah, and it's something that has to change.
Yeah.
It has to change because people are fed up with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like this is it gives us a great example to know that, hey, like we actually do have power to make change happen. And I feel like, you know, whatever next issue that we really have,
it's up to the people to
really
to
stand
that.
up for
Yeah.
it, you know, because I was listening to the Rush Limbaugh show, and it's like he talks about politics, and he wasn't talking about it, but it was some other guy, I forget his name, but he was pretty much talking about other issues. And it's like, I understand that there's other issues, but it's like, hey, like, you know, like now that we're talking, it's like, hey, like, you know, we have to stand up for those issues, and we have to let it be known. We have to let it be known and show people that, hey, you know what, this really has to change. You know, because the more people that we have, the stronger that we are.
That's true. Like, I kind of think that a lot of people rely on like other either the government or other people to solve like issues, but like I think what you're saying is how the people have the power to do that. I think that's the most important part, is the people having the power to change like issues and stuff that's going on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like if you feel passionate about something that needs to get changed, it's like, hey, like let it be known, because this is an example that change can happen, and it doesn't just have to be about necessarily, you know, police brutality. It's like
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be anything. If you feel like that it's important, and if you feel like it's not getting attention, it's like, hey, like, you know, we all have the right to speak up about it. And you know, if and then also too, if you have a group of people that feel about it too, it's like just spreading that awareness, because I think that's all that's how it all kind of started. You know, at first we seen it, we questioned it. People, you know, they made a group, Black Lives Matter, and you know, it kept happening, and you know, sure enough, you know, the group got bigger and bigger. People got more aware. Like me, like I feel aware 28 years later, you know, all my life, and it's like, but there's still people that are not aware of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's awareness.
Yeah, and it's like being willing to be educated about it, but then also too, it's like, you know, it's gonna take time for other people to realize it. But I feel like you still always have to push for that change, because that's the only way it's gonna happen is by pushing for it.
Yeah. And I think it starts with you, like starts with you.
Definitely.
You know, like change comes from within first, and then like just being, like you said, being able to grow and change as a person, and like not, what was that one quote? It's that you sent on Instagram. It was, when you consent to evil, you become evil.
Yeah.
So it's like, or like unknowingly consenting to evil, like you become evil yourself. It's just recognizing that you have the power to change and like to be good also.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, and I mean, and that's what it comes down to too, is just being accountable for our own actions. Like everybody, like us as a nation, taking accountability for our issues, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, it doesn't take away from any other issues either, you know,
No.
because there's so many issues, but it's like you can only do so much at one time.
Yeah.
But
Let's do it.
how did it end up going though with the protest though at the plaza though? Like it went good and everything.
Yeah, it was good. It was peaceful. It was peaceful when I was there. Like I felt, because that was probably my first protest that I've been to also. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was gonna be, but just there, the energy, there was a lot of energy there, and it just felt good being out there, like with people that are wanting to change the current norm.
Eh?
Eh?
Nah, yeah, it's cool, man. Like, yeah, definitely. Like when we were there, like, you know, everybody was, you know, some people were bumping music, you know, people were clapping, and then we ended up taking a knee too. You know, it was a good energy. It felt like, it felt like we were united.
Yeah.
You know, and it was fun.
It was like it's crazy because the Rona, like, it just ended, bro, and like 2 weeks later, so it's like it's been a lot, like so far the past, like this year, pretty much. There's been a lot going on, and yeah, it's just right now.
What do you think about the Rona though?
The Rona?
Yeah.
That's another like. That's
for
another hour,
day,
dude.
huh? That's another hour, huh? Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But personally, I thought it was very good to be careful and considerate, because you know a lot of older people were dying, and it's very good to be cautious of that, but also don't live in fear of. Just don't live in fear, like, because I think a lot of people were kind of fearful, and that just causes more stress on yourself and on your body and on your mind. And I tried not to be kind of fearful of that whole situation, but that's just how I felt.
Yeah, no, like I think, yeah, like it got exaggerated. I feel like the coronavirus got exaggerated, but at the same time it's like people were really dying, and yeah, like people had to, I feel like people should have been saved, and you know, should have just listened, you know, just to make it easier for everybody else. But I feel like the people that were more affected were the people that were sick. But I mean, I think the good thing about it is it's like people are starting not to be scared anymore. I think people are feeling more comfortable now. Like just yesterday we went to go play basketball and we were playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were playing for a while. And also too, I actually read too that that it's rare that if
it's the contact, it spreads through contact, right? Was that the one that you read?
No, it was rare that somebody has the coronavirus and they show no symptoms.
Yeah.
It's rare. So it's just, I feel like, I don't know, I think like the more that they're studying it, the more that they're realizing like, oh, okay, like the more they're realizing what it is now, and you know, people can slowly but surely start to come out and everything.
There's that, but then when you hear stories of hospitals being paid a certain amount of money to say that a person died from that disease, say like if somebody had a heart attack but they also had corona, if the main cause of death was the heart attack, they can say that they died from corona and they would get a paycheck just because they said they died from corona. Like, this is like legit stuff. This is it. So like hearing that, it makes me like, because I like to question everything, dude. Like, I don't like
definitely.
Yeah. So like hearing that, it just makes me question like, why would a hospital get paid money to inflate numbers and stuff also? So like
Yeah.
I don't know, just there's so much, like it's very very complex. It's not black and white.
Yeah. No, and like it's like that's what makes it so tough is like from hearing all these statistics, you know, the black on black crime, white on black or black on white or, you know, white on white crime. It's just like, you know, it's really getting to the source and really getting to the truth.
Like the truth, like that's like all that, like just the truth, bro. Because a lot, like the truth has been kind of
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of gray.
hidden. Yeah, it's been a lot of gray, and like now people are starting to see the truth. I think more and more each day,
Yeah.
which is a really good thing.
Yeah, and like, I mean, the good thing is that, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I feel like things are getting better now. I
Yeah,
mean,
me too.
especially
Like, I feel that
from
too.
the protest. It's like people are really peacefully protesting, you know,
Yeah.
and there's certain groups that are not about the protest, that are not really about the change, that are starting the looting and what getting people amped up, like, oh, that person's doing something, well, I'm gonna do it, you know.
Yeah,
And
those people aren't a part of that Black Lives Matter movement. They're just taking advantage of the situation for their own personal gain.
yeah, and in social media, they're exploiting that, they're
Yeah.
exposing that, and it's like the people are realizing, like, hey, like people are peacefully protesting, and there's just other people antagonizing that are not even a part of the social change that is happening,
Yeah,
you know. And I think that's the beautiful thing right now about social media, is that it's you know, the truth is getting exposed, and it's like we have the power, and the people are not being censored.
yeah.
And that's the great thing about it, is that we're
Like we actually have a voice.
we have a voice, and like we're overcoming everything.
Yeah,
You know, and the great thing about the protests as well, when I went, there was a lot of white people. I mean, yeah, there was like there was a lot of black people too, a lot of Mexicans too, but there was a lot of whites being there, and it was great seeing that, because it's like, you know, they realize too, like, what's going on too, and they say that that's not right either, you know. And I think that's good, because it's like it could only things can only get better if we all are aware of what's really happening,
yeah.
and we're being united, and
That's the very beautiful part. Like we're all being united.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, like when you went, like who were all the people that were there? Oh, you were saying that it was what, like kind of younger people, right?
It was like a lot of younger people. So like it's good, like seeing the younger crowd, like, because you know, when I was in high school, you were in high school, like we never had to face anything like this. So like seeing people now like that are around that age, it's cool. Like they're starting to, you know, be with change and be with social change. Yeah.
And they're brave to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was also seeing like stories like I seen some videos where like little white girls are like, you know, they're getting upset about, you know, their parents not realizing what's going on. And I think that's really good, because it just shows that, okay, like these kids are standing up for themselves. They're very young, and they're standing up, like, hey, like they're telling their parents, like, this is not right, you know. And I think that's good, because it's like they're seeing right from wrong. You know how we're saying about the spiritual fight.
Yeah.
And they realize, like, hey, like, you know, this isn't right, and they're gonna make a difference. You know,
it's the youth.
Yeah, everything that's happening right now is just only putting good seeds in for the kids. You know, so when the kids grow up, you know, it's gonna be way better.
That's true, because those parents of the kids, like they grew up in that era of like the Rodney King era, civil rights movement, and those kids hasn't experienced anything like that, so they're seeing it from the new perspective of now. You know,
Yeah,
so like
they're seeing what's right.
Yeah, they're seeing.
They're
what's
not
right.
just gonna keep going along with what their parents are telling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I seen someone posted up as well. It was a picture of the civil rights movement, and there was like a group of white people that were like against what the civil rights movement was standing for, and they were pointing out like, hey, these are the parents of the people that are still hating.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's like, I mean, that's where it all came from, and you know, that's what me and my bro were talking about. Is like it's all rooted from the parents, what the parents teach them. It's all rooted in the school system.
Yeah, that's I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and so like now it's like these kids are, you know, seeing it in social media. There's, you know, the truth is more out there, and they're seeing like, okay, like this is wrong. So now it's like, you know, when they grow up, you know, they're gonna teach their kids what's right.
Yeah, just plant those seeds to the youth, because yeah, like you said, like the youth is the future, bro.
Yeah. What about you though? Like, what's something that you've seen on social media that you're just like, wow, that's like very powerful? That's like stand out to you.
Just the main thing that has stood out was the video of Casey Neistat when he made the video of saying like going out for an actual cause, like going out because you believe in something, going out and protesting for change, and like that. Yeah, and then there was also a quote that I sent you, also that one quote.
Okay.
I forgot what it was. I can read it off.
It was pretty much like to say that all lives matter is kind of cruel, but it's like it's right. But so what stood out to you with the Casey Neistat was that, I mean, he's white, and like, you know, he has a platform, and a lot of people look up to him. Is that what really stood out for you or what?
Well, not because just because he was white, but just like I don't know, like if I agree with that sort of like just to say like because he's white, but just because of the message that he had. It was about the message. I think that was the most important part. You know, if you're gonna go out and protest, like protest because you believe in something, or protest because
know what you're protesting
know what you're protesting for, and not like go be like the looters and stuff are like taking advantage of the situation for their own personal gain. And there's also a movement of like social change also.
So it's like doing it, having
just having a purpose.
Yeah, having a purpose for actually, you know, protesting, and not just doing it just to be just doing it.
Yeah, and then he told the story of I forgot her name, but like cops came in without they just like barged in.
Breonna Taylor?
Yeah, Breonna Taylor, like that story where like 3 cops barged in, and like she needed to defend herself, or like the husband defended her and started shooting at the cops, and then like they shot back and like killed her. So like that's something that needs to change, is like that sort of law that was, I forgot what the law is. It's, you don't need a, like the cops were just able to break down the door and just come in and start shooting pretty much. So like that's something that needs to change.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, yeah, like racism is like one thing, you know, racism, like to not like somebody. It's like, I mean, it's like if you don't like somebody, like that's understandable. If you don't like a certain group, like that's understandable. I mean, it's not right. That is not right. But the main thing too is just the police brutality. It's like, police shouldn't just be able to do. They shouldn't just have the right to do whatever they feel like. You know, like just
be
because,
above the law.
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't be able to be above the law. They should serve the law.
Yeah, and I mean, and they should treat them with respect.
Yeah.
like treat them with respect, and just arrest them, and not just, oh, well, I'm just gonna attack this person, because this is what it is. Because you know what I mean, like there's been another case of that too, where somebody went in the wrong house, and then the person just kills them, and it's just like,
And
I
if
mean,
like,
that's a whole different story.
but also like if like now it's good that now we're talking about all this stuff. Like it just been brought up to the surface. So like we're talking about it, and
We're trying to figure it out.
we're trying to figure it out. And like and he also said like the most important part is to vote also, because like we have the power to put these people in positions, whether it's like the mayor or whoever. Like the people have the power to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely we do. We do.
So it's just go out and vote.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
But at the same time too is really understand like okay, like what are the laws that they're trying to implement?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
Like
what's
educated.
really going on? Because I feel like at times people just get on the bandwagon, and it's like sometimes you got to understand, okay,
Do your research. You gotta do your research.
do your research and understand what is what, don't just
Yeah,
be
definitely.
like, oh well, everybody's this, so I'm just with everybody.
100%.
Yeah, it's like really just trying to understand the information, and just try to learn as much as possible, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
because like, and especially right now, like as much as information is out there, it's just like, all of it can't be true, but you know what I mean, all of it can't be lies either.
Yeah.
So it's just really like trying to take your time to really understand everything that you're reading.
Just like basically like form your own opinion, and don't base your opinion off of anybody else's opinion.
Yeah, you can't believe everything everybody tells you. You gotta find out for yourself.
You gotta find out the truth for yourself with anything. Like I feel like not even with politics, but with music too. People just listen to certain music, I think, because that's what's trending right now. So like even that, like that's another topic, but like comparing that to people that just don't form their own opinion. And I think that's another thing. Like I think school like teaches you kind of not to think for yourself. Like I think like they're giving you, like obviously school, it has a lot of its positives as well, but it has its negatives, and one of it is not teaching kids how to just think for themselves. And I think that's another thing that needs to change, bro. The school system.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I mean that's
another topic.
I feel like that's how it is though. Like people think in groups,
Yeah,
because
groupthink.
it makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah,
And they want to have a sense of belonging. Like, oh well, they think this, well I'm just gonna go with that, because it's like it feels safe. It feels safe to them. It's harder to form your own opinion, because it's like, oh well, not everybody's thinking that, and then you might be looked as the enemy. And even with the music too, though, like of course you gotta question what you're listening, and have your own taste for music. Form your own likes and dislikes. Just because all your friends are listening to a certain thing doesn't mean you can't be able to listen to your own type of thing.
Like we talked about that too, like I think previously, how in Camarillo growing up we would listen to like different music and stuff, and like it was kind of like, oh, like you listen to that, like you were kind of judged like based off what you would listen to. But that's a good thing, because you genuinely liked it, dude. Like,
yeah, you're being your own individual.
Yeah, you're being your own self.
Yeah.
Like even like just dressing however you want to dress, or like just anything. Like if the most important opinion, I think, is first and foremost of yourself, like how you think of yourself, and like if you're satisfied with yourself first.
Yeah, how you view your own self.
Yeah.
No, definitely, yeah. That counts. Like it wasn't until for me it was I was I think a freshman or sophomore, and I used to always do the dances, and then like sophomore year, freshman year, like
You're like, hey, like, why am I doing like?
yeah, I was like, why did I keep doing this dance? And I kind of just didn't like it because it's like
A lot of people, a lot of other people were doing it too, huh?
yeah, a lot of people are doing it, but it's just like it's like I used to do. Well, that was the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
The cool thing to do was do the newest dance, you know, and then the chicks would just like you know. But then it's like I don't know. I just was like my instinct was just like nah, like this is not.
It just didn't feel right.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right, and I was like nah, I'm not gonna keep doing that. And you know, for me, it's like it's not to knock everything out. Like oh, what's cool is not cool. But more than anything, it's more like, okay, what makes it cool? I mean, nowadays I
like
question.
understanding, like questioning and understanding, like why.
Yeah, understanding, like, oh, how come people like this? And that's my
Yeah.
whole thing. Like, what makes a person really like this? Like when I was learning about Madlib, or when I seen an interview on Madlib, he was talking about John Coltrane. He was saying, well, if you want to make beats, you have to study Jay Dilla, kind of like how you have to study John Coltrane. And when I heard that made me really question, like, well, how come John Coltrane?
And then you just like started listening to John Coltrane, huh? And
I started studying him, and I started learning about it, and
just getting back to the roots of like
starting to see what makes him really interesting to everybody. And I kind of did like learn, you know, like what made him interesting. And you know, I mean, he's a great saxophone player, but the what was cool about questioning or learning about him was that, you know, I liked more of his piano player more than I did him.
Oh shit.
So sometimes I think that's the beauty of curiosity, is that
you find out your likes and dislikes.
You find your likes and dislikes, but you never know what you're gonna find.
No, yeah, like you're looking for, like it'll you think you'll end up like at a certain destination, but then you'll look at another thing, and like it'll take you on a completely new path.
Yeah. Like, has that ever happened to you? Like,
that's happened to me like a lot.
What's one time that's happened to you? Or
well, just starting like the Live a Little stuff. Like I never knew that starting like selling on Amazon, I never had the thought of that becoming like sort of like an outdoor thing. And then I never thought like I would, you know, be doing like a beach cleanup. I never thought like I would be doing a podcast. I never thought I would end up, you know, trading in the stock market. But like as I go through life, I just find out what I like, and I just go towards that, you know.
You go with like what?
Go with my instinct, my curiosity. Like,
what was your first thought of like with Live a Little, like what, like the initial start? What was the initial start, like initial thought? Like
the initial thought was like the whole reason why it started was because like I want, like the whole goal is to be financially free, meaning like I don't have to depend on money, or I don't have to, you know, work for money. I wanted my money to work for me. So like the whole thing, like the whole idea was to
like kind of like make your own company.
Make my own company, also to have people to help people like realize that it's possible for them to do that also. So like live a little, like, you know, like whatever you wanted to do in life, like do it. Like
kind of like like kind of like live a little, but it's like kind of like get out of your
comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that kind of is what really.
That's what that was the premise of like where everything started.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then from doing that and from just staying on that, it just
grew.
the
Yeah.
the meaning just grew from just that, just getting out of your comfort zone, and that's what you keep doing, huh?
Yeah, like, and then I like hopefully, people will get inspired to just get out of their comfort zone too, and like, cause like you said, it's easy to do like be comfortable. It's easy to be comfortable. So like getting out of your comfort zone, it's hard, but in that you'll grow as a person. You'll grow. You'll meet new people. You'll
And build courage.
build courage. Yeah.
And I think that's that's the main thing that I get from what you're telling me is
Yeah.
like, like you get out of your comfort zone, and it's like you build self-confidence, you build courage, you build bravery, and it's like you face your fears.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. What so since you've been doing that, what's one fear that you feel like you have faced from getting out of that comfort zone from your initial start and thought?
One fear that I faced is, I guess, like the fear of either one, the fear of failing, like that. Like I faced that, and I still face it today, but it's just knowing that even though that you failed in the short term, the long term, like you'll learn from those failures, and you'll learn from those mistakes, and you'll know what not to do. So like it's a short-term loss, but like long-term it's very very beneficial.
It's like having that perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance.
But what's one actual example, like 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 if you could show us, like, oh, like I like I was very uncomfortable doing this, and
Like I guess anything new that I start, like anything new, like any like rock climbing.
that was probably the
Like,
most uncomfortablest. The
uncomfortable, yeah, like like I think I like the idea of learning new stuff and like trying new things, and like in those moments, like
you see your strength, huh?
yeah, like for me,
What time
like
is it? What time is it?
3:47.
3:47.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he works on. Yeah. Okay.
He's good though. He works at 5.
Okay.
Go for it though.
Yeah, like just I like throwing myself into stuff and I like being thrown into the like the fire and just
In
like
the trenches.
I like being thrown in the trenches, bro, and just like figuring it out. Like I think that's the fun part for me.
So it's like
Rock climbing, like, oh, like I have to learn how to I need to get like my forearm strength up so I can climb this, or like my finger strength up so I can climb this.
it gives you goals.
Gives me goals, yeah. And I think having goals like in life is very, very and like having a purpose to something to shoot for is like I think a lot of people need that, and I need that for myself too.
Yeah, like just hearing you talk about that, like hearing you explain, like, oh, like I like being thrown into something that I don't know. It's kind of like when you're being thrown in these positions that you don't know what's gonna happen, or you're not very knowledgeable of. It's like
It's the process. Yeah.
it's like I what I'm getting from is like you find that inner strength in you. You find that
Yeah.
deep inner strength in you, and you really, it's like you really look inside of you, and you're like, hey, like I'm gonna
figure it out.
I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna pull myself up. I'm gonna pick myself up. I'm gonna rise to the challenge. It's like you're like every time you do that, you're rising to the challenge, and like you're strengthening, your mental toughness. And
That's true. Like I think it's like you got it on point, bro.
what were you gonna say though?
But yeah, like I love the challenge, the everyday challenge of just becoming better, as a person, and growing as a person and just not being stuck in like in a like
In fear.
in fear and in a loop in a sort of way.
Just being stagnant.
Being
stuck.
stagnant. Because I felt like a lot of my time in high school, like I felt like I was just, in a loop, like, just wake up, go to school, and then after school just go to work, and then it was just like a cycle, So like,
And
I
you noticed that. You were
I
aware of that. You were aware, like, hey, like I'm in
like sort of like a loop, and like
I'm kind of stuck in this.
Yeah, so like just knowing that, like I wanted to try new things and then just try to do as much as I can to like not be in that cycle of repetitiveness.
What was that first thing when you're just like, hey, I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna get out of this pattern. What was that first thing you did? Do you remember?
The first thing I did was I think like to put myself out there, like I picked up photography.
Oh,
and then
okay.
like I think we talked about this too.
Okay.
Yeah, like picking up photography and then just throwing myself out there, like going to these like places that I've never been to and like experiencing new things, like driving up to Big Sur, going to
that was
Yosemite.
kind of like the you stepping out of the unknown. You're like, hey, like what is there to know now? What is out
like
there?
just know, like seeing past, like currently where I'm at, like seeing new opportunities, seeing new things that are out there.
And then we were talking about it.
Yeah.
From the photography, that's where you met a lot of people in the like with cars.
Like cars, and then like I got into cars also, and then
and you met a lot of good people.
A lot of good people, and then just
by
that act of me taking photography, like I learned like to throw myself into the unknown, and like it's okay to be uncomfortable. Like you'll
be alive.
You'll be alive, bro. Like literally, bro. And it's not about like, I didn't think about like the outcome of like, and I still don't, like today, like I don't think of like the outcome. It's more of the process and the journey.
It's like the corny phrase. It's like the journey isn't about the destination. It's really about the journey.
Yeah.
And that's what you're getting from it. But I mean, I think and I think that's a beautiful thing too, though. Is like, you realize like, hey, you know what? I'm in this cycle, and I'm gonna get out of it. And you end up making friends. And I think that's probably like one of the best things you can do is, make friendships. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, like, I've felt that way too. And you know what I mean? Like you can relate to people better, like how we were talking about the music, how, when we came to Oxnard, we were looked at different because we came from another city, even though it's only like 15 minutes long, but it's like we were able to relate with one another. And that's the best thing is, something it's
being your true self.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned from Elliot Holst is when he says, hey, like, if you want to talk to more people, it's like you got to put yourself out there. And that's what you did. You put yourself out there, and you're just like, hey, like, what is out there. You're probably scared, but hey, like, you faced it, and you gained something from it. And
yeah,
that's awesome, bro.
Yeah. And like adding on to what you're saying too, just being like your true self, and like even though like a lot of people aren't gonna agree with you, the right people for you will agree with you, because you guys will connect like authentically.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Based on like your your likes and dislikes. So like you will find the right people that will like connect with you.
Yeah, like I read something, it's like even at your best, you still won't be good enough for the wrong person. And at your worst, you'll still be good enough for that right person.
Exactly.
And that's cool, dude. That's awesome, bro, to hear the live a little and to hear the foundation, because that's what I love hearing is like the foundation of things and learning the origin of someone's story, and that's beautiful, dude. And I think also too, like something that you did that you got out of your comfort zone and you stepped out was going to the protest. That
too, like going to the protest too. I was uncomfortable. And
That's
then
pretty hella dangerous too, bro.
It
That's
is.
pretty hella dangerous. That's pretty like
Like,
scary to face.
I even thought like, bro, what if somebody just gave no fucks and then just started like spraying, bro, like spraying and praying, like I'm like, fuck.
You should put a clip of when the cop was like, "You want to get arrested?" You're like, "No." You should just throw the clip, show the people the clip.
Yeah, dude, like, I'll put it up there.
Hey, bro, like that takes balls, bro, to do. That takes balls to do. Like,
Bro,
just,
like I wanted to like, as much as I wanted to like fight back, like like say you can't arrest me, or I really wanted to, but Anthony was there and like he was uncomfortable, so I was like, okay, like, like I was the ride back home, so I didn't want to like,
yeah, dignity.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. I think
Yeah.
and that's the another thing too that I don't think we covered enough is that I think I think it's a beautiful thing to stand up for your rights and stand up and express yourself. But
Get up, stand up.
get up, stand up for your rights, Bob Marley. Yeah, but I think that it's not what you're saying, but it's like how you're saying it. So like you always want to have that dignity, you always want to have that respect for the person and have the respect for yourself, you
Also
know?
for yourself, and like knowing and like your human rights, like as a human being.
Yeah, and be grounded.
Yeah.
Even if the person is wrong, it's like really have self-control. Like don't let your emotions get the best of you. At the end of the day, you always want to have self-control, self-respect, and have that dignity. So you know what I mean? You can handle the situation appropriately. And that's the main thing that the people have been doing with these protests, is that they have been handling it appropriately. It just so happens that
Like a small minority of people that are not handling it appropriately.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the skateboard, huh? I was gonna tell you something else, but I forgot.
Like skateboarding.
You handled the situation with dignity though, bro. Like when the cops were coming at you and they were telling you things, and
Yeah, like I really like, in that moment, like I realized like I had two choices. I was like, I can either just walk away or I could like fight back. But I was like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to do that? I'm like, nah, dude. So just gonna keep going, keep moving forward, keep moving forward.
yeah, and like and you didn't let your emotions get the best of you. As much as you wanted to say fuck the police, you're just like, hey, now I'm gonna just chill because I gotta take this fool home. But when I went to the protest, like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, like going there,
You felt.
I don't know what I was gonna face. I
Yeah.
was kind of scared. I was like, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen. And you get there and like everybody has posters up, and then everybody's just chill, Everybody's just about the cause, and that was the beauty of it. It's like, man, like nobody was thinking about themselves. It was just about the people. It was about black people. It was about Black Lives Mattering.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen this sign where it says, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And it is true, man. And even Sandra Bland, she even said like, hey, like show me a time in history where all lives matter. It's like, all lives do matter, but it's like Black lives might have to matter as much, as everybody else's. They have to be treated equally. And that's one thing that I think that this social change is about. It's just about equality, everybody treating fairly and equally. Because even once we do resolve this issue, it's like black people that have suffered from being looked down upon still have to heal. They still have to heal from the hate that they've had. And that's gonna take time. That doesn't just take in one day. It's like a day-to-day thing.
Yeah, like healing, it takes time. Healing takes time.
Yeah, and I think that's tough, man.
Yeah,
That's tough because it's like, like we don't know how they feel. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, you're right. Like, I will never understand how it feels like just to be in that situation and just like thinking about like their perspective of like, oh, am I being judged because I'm like black, or am I being looked down upon because I'm black? Like I wouldn't know how that feels like. um so just it's just like perspective of like like listening to the stories.
Yeah, and like just trying to, be there for them and just be
Yeah.
compassionate and understanding. Because I mean, even when I was seeing like when they burned down the police department, I talked to my black friends, and I just try to really just hear them out. And even talking about it now, it's just like it's not just from one day. It's like it has to be consistent, because even as we protest and as we sign these petitions, it's a consistent stand to want that change,
Yeah.
to not forget about the issue, and to really just try to resolve the issue, and really just try to find a peaceful solution and a righteous solution for the people that have been affected by this. The people that are are the main ones that are affected by this.
Yeah. And it's like it's the people's, we have the power to do that. So it's just taking action and listening and knowing what's wrong in society, and just making a change, and like putting people in power that are for the people and are for what the people believe in, instead of putting people in power that use that power for their own personal gain.
Yeah.
But
Justice for George Floyd and everybody that has been affected by this.
yeah.
Eh?
That's it. Thanks, dude.